This is the Héron Marinor, part of the Core collection. Héron is a Montreal-based company, and I'm truly happy to see that they're doing great things. Let's see what this one has to offer. I'm Francois, and it's time to watch. This Héron Marinor is part of the Core collection. Héron is a Montreal-based company, and it's my neck of the woods, so I may be biased, but quite frankly, I wasn't too sure about this watch when I saw it for the first time on their website. But when I reached out to them so that they can lend me this watch, unfortunately, I need to send it back. And I say unfortunately because as I wore it, I grew to love it. Of course, it's not perfect, and we'll talk about what I like about it and what I dislike. So, speaking of like, this is my reminder to tell you that if you like these types of reviews, don't forget to press the like button because it helps much more than you think. And of course, I encourage you to subscribe and press that notification bell. You'll be notified of all my upcoming reviews. Before we get into the specs, let's talk about Héron themselves. Their first watch came out in 2021. It was called the Gladiator. And for those who follow me, you may recall I did a review a while back. I'll leave you a card here if you don't recall. And of course, it was their first watch. With this version here, I think they stepped it up a few notches. Although they have a short history, I think they are going in the right direction. Let's now look at the specs and what this watch has to offer. This watch here they lent me is the Atlantic Blue dial, and powering the movement inside is a Miyota 9039, so it has a nice sweeping second hand. It has a diameter of 39 millimeters, a lug-to-lug of 47 millimeters, a manageable 20 millimeters between the lugs, and a thickness of 12.9, just under 13 millimeters. And you notice right here, it's a domed sapphire crystal. It's slightly domed, but they call it boxed because you have a domed sapphire bezel right here. So it's different from the crystal itself, even if you have that slight dome. What I like about that boxed sapphire crystal, it has that vintage look and feel. And, well, this is inspired by the dive watches of the 1950s. Thus, of course, why they called this the Mariner. As per the Héron team themselves, this is a watch that is an ode to the man's conquest of the ocean. It's a seafaring tool watch inspired by the great dive watches of the 1950s. We can think of the Blancpain 50 Fathoms and the Rolex Submariner. As the story goes, the classic arrow-shaped marker located at 12 o'clock was intended to make it simpler for the divers to swiftly discern the time while underwater. This narrative is reminiscent of the old maritime tales where the mariners would utilize the North Star as a guiding light to navigate the vast seas. So the North Star shaped marker at the 12 o'clock position is a subtle tribute to this intriguing similarity. If we stick to the dial, you'll notice that it's very legible. There are a few components that are special on this dial. The very first one that we notice is that 12 o'clock. Like I said, it's the guiding star for this Mariner watch. The applied markers are full of lume, as well as that star, and as well as the hands themselves. You'll notice that the second hand has that pip there, and it reaches right up to that minute track, I should say. And the minute track is kind of pale, and with the dome sapphire crystal, you can't see it very much, so you really have to pay attention. So the legibility is good with the hands and the markers themselves, but we'll pass on the minute markers. Like I said, the markers and the hands are full of lume, but also the markers on the bezel. So I'll give you a view of the lume itself. It's very bright. It lasts a long time. I've been wearing this watch for the last 2, 3 weeks now, and I just can't get it off my wrist because it's very legible. It's very clean. I love also, if we go back to the dial, the fumée of that dark blue. Like I said, this is an Atlantic blue, and it goes right up to the borders here where it's darker, much darker. And you have that same type of dark blue here on the bezel. So it's very uniform and very clean. Another aspect of that uniformity and that cleanness is that everything is aligned. Like I said, in here you have a movement. It's the Miyota 9039 powering this watch, and it's a true no date. So you don't have any date window anywhere. Everything is aligned in the middle. You have, of course, the Héron, that symbol at the 12 o'clock, and the name right there as well. And the only thing you have at 6 o'clock is the name of the watch and the depth, that 300-meter water resistant watch is very thin compared to others. You could say that this under 12 millimeters, you wouldn't even notice that this is a true dive watch. In keeping with the nautical theme, they didn't decide to do a signed crown typically. What they did is that they put a logo in there that is reminiscent of the entire theme itself and not their own logo. So kudos to them because they made it different. This crown is a screw-down crown that operates this Miyota movement inside. Like I said, it's a true no date, and because it's a 300-meter water-resistant watch, it's a screw-down crown that has one position to wind it and the other position out here to adjust the time. And you screw back in. It has good crown guards, so if ever you knock it, well, it guards really well. And the material on here is simple stainless steel. And when I say simple, it's just because it's 316L stainless steel. However, the entire case and bracelet go through a hardening treatment. And I don't know if you can see it, but when you put on this this bracelet and you look at the material itself, it kind of looks like titanium. It feels like titanium. You have that really fine brushing that you could see on titanium, but it isn't. I like the glimmer of the light on the case, on the bracelet itself. Like I said, it's really fine brushing. The only items that you can see a clear polish to it is that little fine here edge of the lug, as well as the edge of the bezel itself. The stainless steel on the bracelet itself, you see it's a flat 3-link bracelet. So quite frankly, I know a few people kind of don't like this because they're used to seeing the oyster-like bracelets, but I really dig this because it has that nice flexibility to it. And on the inside anyways, and we'll see that a bit later, is that it's really rounded and soft. So we're talking about the bracelet, so let's talk about the clasp. The clasp is rock solid, a nice double button push deployant with that nice logo there. That same brushing is found here on the fully milled clasp. But what I really like about this watch, and all bracelets should have that, is that it's that adjustment on the fly where you could just press to make sure it's tightening on your wrist, or you press on the button here and you just extend it. It's as simple as that. So it's toolless and it's efficient. You'll see that you can easily manipulate this bracelet for its flexibility, and if you want to change it, you even have on the fly quick release right here, 2 pins. You do this in a heartbeat. We're looking at the case back, so let's concentrate on the case back. The case back is, I think it's a good thing that it's not a display case back. For one, I'm not sure that at 300 meters water resistant, it's the best thing to have a display case back, but I could be wrong. But I really like this design. I like the artwork in a sense, because you have all the information on the outskirts, of course, this, the water resistance, the sapphire crystal, etc., etc. But you see that Mariner right there. Of course, it is reminiscent of the name of the watch itself. You have the name right there, and it's artwork. I really rather have artwork. Every time you put on your watch, you see art as opposed to seeing a movement. Okay, at this point, we talked about the dial, we talked about the bezel, the movement, the case, the bracelet. I'll show you this watch on my wrist with the bracelet, but also with these different straps. Except the orange one, I don't think we'll go with it, but I really wanted to mention this orange one because this is a real special Montreux bracelet that strap, I should say, that I got. I really like these. These came from Straps Co. I'm not sponsored. I'm talking about this at the end of my video. And by the way, if you are still listening at this point, thank you very much. I'll truly appreciate it. And it's of course my reminder to tell you to press the like button if you're still watching at this point. And of course, I encourage you to subscribe and press that notification bell so that you'll be notified. I encourage you to buy other straps with this because it's easy to take off. It's easy to put back in. It's easy to manage. This version of the Héron watch is several steps above from the Gladiator that I had reviewed. It's not a perfect watch. However, I truly love this watch. If I had the budget, I'd buy it right away, without any questions asked. But the pros, why would I buy this? I love the display. I love the fact that it's very legible. I love the fact that it has a boxed sapphire crystal. Last but not least, and that's why I'm mentioning it at the end, is that treatment on that stainless steel, the look, the feel of that stainless steel. I just can't take my eyes off of it. And it is truly scratch resistant. And I didn't mention it, but a standard stainless steel is around 200 and 250 Vickers. But this treatment brings it up to 1200 Vickers. So this is a demo watch. It doesn't have a scratch on it. It's not that I wanted to put scratches on it, but you'll see this clasp here. It's clean and clear, and so they stepped up the quality of their watches. And kudos to Héron. The not so good, I would say, I had mentioned here, the crown is a little smaller than I would have liked. It's grippy enough, but it's a little smaller than I would have liked. The main issue here is the less aggressive coin edge here on the bezel, so that when you turn the bezel, it's kind of difficult to really grip it. And finally, the bracelet, and again, I say it at the end because I'm talking about the bracelet, but the bracelet is a hair puller. I have a lot of hair here, and of course, it's just, kind of a nuisance. But quite frankly, I kept this on the bracelet as long as I could. I wanted to try the straps, so I did. You saw the images. But I just love this bracelet so much that, I handled the hair pulling. I really didn't mind. And it's not that much, but you have to mention it. So you saw this on my wrist already. I won't put it. I'll close this video up. Again, thanks for toughing it out if you're still watching. And of course, I truly appreciate you tuning in. And of course, I hope to see you next time.